Is Cheryl coming?
She texted and said that she'll be here, but softball is starting late. We're good? Okay. All right, we will get started on our March 22nd, 2022 regular city council meeting. Everyone is here with the exception of Council Member Bowers, who said she'd be here shortly, but as of right now, she is not. We'll start with a prayer of thought. I will offer that, and then we'll have the pledge, and we'll go from there. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this day. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to gather as community members and ask that we might be able to make decisions and have discussions that will be of the greater benefit of the community. We're grateful for the area in which we live, and at this time we ask for the things that we stand in need of. We ask for water to fill our reservoirs, to sustain us here. We are grateful for that of which we've received and continue to ask for more. Help us to know of what we can do to be worthy of those blessings. We ask that thou bless the military and the armed forces that are protecting us and in our country. We ask that thou bless the leaders with clear minds, that they will be able to represent and make decisions that will benefit those in which they serve. We're grateful to be here, and we ask these blessings and we say these in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. With liberty and justice. Right. We will approve the consent agenda and minutes from the March 8th, 2022 meeting. Anybody has any questions on that? If not, I would take a motion.
If Mr. Johnson wants his name spelled right on page section 3B, Sunrise Outfitting.
Okay. We'll make that change for you.
Okay. Anything else? If not, I take a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve consent agenda and the minutes from 3/8/2022.
Okay, it's a motion by Councilmember Grover, second by Councilmember Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
That is everyone here. Any conflicts of interest on the agenda tonight? Okay, we will move to our public comment section. This is where anybody that's here to address the council can do so. We will give you about 3 minutes. Anybody that wants to come up, just state your name for the record and tell us what you want.
Hi, I'm Kayla Stillman. I'm here representing National Honor Society from Salmon High School. As we've done in the most recent years, we plan to have an Easter egg hunt the Friday before Easter, which is April 15th. That will be starting at 9 a.m. and end at 9:30 a.m. as well. We plan to do this at Centennial Park, more specifically the baseball and softball fields, just so we can easier separate the age groups. In the past years, we've been given $500, and that has been enough to cover the cost of the supplies. This has been a great community event. We are looking to be funded the same amount for the great event. Do you have any questions?
No.
Would you spell your name so that we get it right in the minutes?
Love to is K-Y capital L-E-A Spillman, S-P-I-L-L-M-A-N.
And Mayor and Council, I was going to say, you have to forgive me. I was going to put this as an agenda item in there for them to be recognized in with this request, but technically it's already in the budget. I can approve it administratively. So
Yeah, no, it's good. We appreciate you coming and asking.
We say yes, and you can stay for our awesome meeting or you can leave.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Ewald. I'm an employee of Guardian Flight. and also a tenant at the airport. I know it's not on the agenda for this evening, but I wanted to come and just speak on behalf of myself and a few of the other tenants at the airport, and also just to generally raise awareness for what's going on at the airport. I think the culture at the airport is a lot different than it used to be. We've really done, I think, some pretty amazing things to grow our local airport. We now actually have 30 employees based out of the Blanding Airport, which is a pretty amazing feat. We also have a number of young men that are learning to fly, and several of them that have their own airplanes. Along with that, of course, it's very beneficial to have hangars to store your aircraft in. I know there's a shortage of hangars at the Blanding Airport, and we're pretty lucky, I think, to have the hangars that we do. I know there's discussion proposed for the April 12th meeting about increasing the hangar rents. Some of the previous discussion involved, I think, raising those rates to somewhere around $300 from the current rates of around $100. So that's a very significant increase in rates. I think that some of the data that was gathered in the research of that, I think was erroneous data and not suitable comps. So airports like Spanish Fork and Moab, those hangars are all privately owned. Excuse me. The hangars here, of course, are not, but I don't believe that privately owned hangars are suitable comps. There is one really good local comp, and that's the Guardian Flight hangar. I think that if you want to be fair and non-discriminatory, then I think the rates that are applied to the Guardian hangar could easily be applied per square foot to all the local T hangars. I think that would be a fair and just thing to do, and I ask that you look into that during your research of the numbers and the new fees that you're thinking about imposing. Also take into consideration that we're trying hard to grow the airport here and help some of these young people out that are just starting in it, because these guys are the future of the Blanding Airport, and also the future of Blanding. So I would encourage you to help our local community, help our individuals that want to pursue aviation. And we all know that aviation is a tough field. It's an expensive field. And yeah, we do have a few people here that a significant increase in hangar rates wouldn't affect, but we do have a number of people that are not very wealthy, that are barely in the aviation industry, just starting out. So I encourage you all to help. Please help them all to
That's really loud. Sorry.
start. So I think that's all I got. I'll be back April 12th. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Good, okay. Reports. I will start. I don't really have much of a report other than we've been asked if any of the council would be available next Saturday to help the elementary school with the art contest. They've had an art contest and need some judges. They said they'd get us more information. I'll send an email or text, and whoever's around, or if anybody's around, they got that going on at the school.
Is that this coming Saturday or the following?
The following Saturday, so the something of April, whatever that is. Anyways, I'll send a text and give times, and if anybody's around, they can swing by and judge some art, I guess. That's all I got. Does anybody from the council have any reports? No, easy. David, city manager.
Okay, just highlighting a couple quick things here in my project status report. I'll just highlight that. So the CDBG grant to get the pickleball courts, looks like we are going to be awarded that. We will need to hold another public hearing. So we'll receive full funding for that.
I have a question about that, and since you're here, it's kind of for you. Why can't we have pickleball and still have the sand volleyball? That's just a question I've been asked.
We have other sand volleyball in town, and just the location of that with correlation to the tennis courts is just makes the most sense.
Okay, thanks.
Let's see, Swallow's Nest, we did not receive the grant with that, and so we've got to go back to kind of the original plan of trying to maybe remove some grass, find the funding to put in some gravel and help mitigate any runoff water. Airport commercial policies, we're looking at that. The intent is to have a draft for discussion, again, an updated draft for discussion at the April 12th meeting. If for some reason we feel like we don't have sufficient information yet, we want to get more feedback from others in the community, we may push it back to the 26th. But right now, I think we're on track to get something updated and recommended to discuss on the 12th. And then the sunrise outfitting will be a discussion item tonight. I feel like there was one other thing. No, it was the commercial airport policies. We did have great conversation with our FBO. Gotten great feedback from Chris and from others in the community. So we're trying to do our due diligence and look at some of the recommendations that they've given as well. We'll bring those back to council soon. So that's all I've got.
Okay, any questions for David? If not, we'll go to Kim with our financial report.
Council, it's great to see you on this windy Tuesday evening. The only thing I really would want to point out is that we still have the budget meeting scheduled for the 30th of April. And if you have any conflicts, if you let me know so we can change that if we need to. I've been working on that the last couple of weeks.
What time?
I think we scheduled it for the morning like we usually do.
8 a.m.
Okay.
10 is the morning, but
6:30.
We want to get it done so
No.
we can get on with our day.
I'm not available at that time.
And
I
then
agree, 10.
I'll wake you up when I get up.
No.
See, Saturday morning, I get up at 2:30.
That's just wrong.
then you go home, go back to bed.
If I don't have something else to do.
I know what he's doing. Do you have any questions about the report?
So you said that the second ARPA tranche was expected in February. It's still coming?
As
Or is
far
it
as I
not
know,
coming?
It should, I mean, we were awarded the 400,000 and we've only received half of it, but I haven't seen that second amount come in, and they had anticipated it would be February, so I'm
Okay.
checking every.
what was the
couple of
amount on that?
days. The total was 400 roughly.
Any more questions for Kim?
Great, thank
You're
you.
free.
Thanks.
All right, Public Works, Terry.
Alrighty, Mayor and Council, you should have the March 2022 Public Works Project Report in your packet. Westwater Power Project. Looks good. It's not happening as fast as we would have hoped, but it's happening. Any questions there? Okay, Middle Arc subdivision, they're just trying to get some stuff wrapped up between now and May so that we can release that performance bond and last one warranty bond, and we'll move forward. There was a little bit of question on sidewalk stuff and they held off on a little bit of that, but they're getting that done now. Questions on Middle Arc? Okay, street maintenance project, there's not a lot there. That's just been more on the back burner last couple months. Water master plan, that's moving forward pretty good. Javen sent me a request, an update on the status of that project. And yeah, everything's going per schedule. They've got everything in the computer model and calibrating that, and it's working pretty well. So they're working on some of the other project scope. Questions on water master plan. Natural gas master plan is kind of in the same spot as street maintenance project, just waiting for me to get a little more time to keep that thing moving. I figured I'd throw a UAMPS report in here. The Still Solar 1 project. Couple of things. One, we executed an amendment to the transaction schedule, and that modified the price to $31.35 per megawatt hour.
What was it before?
$31.45. So there's really, it's almost two projects now, Still Solar 1A and 1B, and then some new people have joined the project under 1B, and the developer wanted to expand, and that lowered the price for us just by 10 cents a megawatt hour. And so that was appealing. Anyway, and then there's a little bit of talk that there's some delay. I mean, COVID, solar panels possibly held up in customs, stuff like that. So we don't really know what that means yet. So I can't report too much there other than people seem to be a little nervous. We're supposed to start generating power there. Commercial operating date, I think, is January 1, 2023. So hopefully that stuff sorts itself out and we're still able to start. San Juan generating station. I forgot to let council know this last time on my report. There's been some delays with respect. So Enchant is trying to buy the generating station out and generate power and do carbon capture. And that's taking longer to negotiate than anticipated. And so they're going to in September, and that'll give us a little better idea of where we're at. You know, that everyone's nervous, obviously, about supply chain issues, inflation, and all the things that seem to be coming along in the economy today and how that might impact the project costs.
So did you say Enchant is who's
Yeah.
considering that? If they do that, will we continue to buy power from them?
No, we didn't enter that Enchant project because we did a 5-year purchase a year ago now. And so we didn't need more power. And at the time we locked into the 5-year purchase, we didn't have any idea that Enchant thing was going to even be a possibility. So it might have been a good thing for us, but it didn't happen. So.
But that could potentially take a significant amount of time to change over technologies.
Yeah, and we won't be a part of that, like you said, it won't.
Okay.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Rec, David.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You should have the report in front of you. Not a lot on there. We're about to get crazy here, springtime, getting cleaned up from winter, but
It's just be a whole bunch more tumbleweeds.
oh man, it's so bad. They're everywhere. Yeah, and we can't really light them up right now, not in this wind anyways, but. So,
Hey, would you just really quickly just highlight the positions that we have posted in that one meeting, just so the council's aware?
oh, yeah, the pool manager that I think you're all aware of, assistant pool manager, and then our parks and rec help that we have seasonally for the summer. Where, yeah, we need help. So we are getting a few applications.
What age do you hire for Parks and Rec?
They need to be able to drive, yeah. So 16. And then
Isn't it 14 for the lifeguards?
lifeguards, 15. 15. We can start training earlier than that, but they need to be 15 by, I have to double check that date, but the time we start. So other than that, any other questions? All right. Thank you.
All right, discussion items. Our first one is Sunrise Outfitting. Pratt is not here, so David's gonna.
Yeah, I'll just quickly highlight, because you've got the report in front of you, and we just appreciate Josh with Sunrise for all of his efforts. And essentially what we did is we took that rubric and the commercial development agreement policy that the council approved last go round. We Pratt placed them in the rubric. He got feedback from Public Works, from administration, from others on how to rate them based on the different categories: sales tax revenue, return on investment, infrastructure, etc. They came in about in an 18. And even if there were a few other points here and there in some of the other categories, it wouldn't quite put them in that top tier eligibility. But with a development agreement with the city, the council, per the policy, could award up to $12,000. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed 12,000, but up to 12,000, and that's at your discretion. Terry, do we have, I'm sorry, I didn't even think to ask you this beforehand. Do we have what our estimates are for those infrastructure costs for their project yet, or do we
It's not our project, so we don't typically do estimates for that.
Or I'm sorry, on the infrastructure side of it?
That would be the
Just them.
developer's engineer who would prepare those, I would assume.
And you haven't, have
No, I
they
haven't seen
provided that
it.
to us? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have that.
And Josh, would you mind, do you know what the infrastructure costs related to your project are yet? Or, okay. You don't have any idea. So I guess that is one hang up then in the discussion. And I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that till right now when I started presenting this, because Pratt's kind of been leading on this. And actually knowing that, I would actually almost, well, first, I'll say this, and then any discussion you want to be had. I would almost wait on deciding what amount, or you could you can give staff direction on how to proceed once we get those estimates in. But right now, I guess if the council has any questions or wants to talk about specific things related to Sunrise Outfitting and a potential development agreement.
It's worth talking about what would benefit both of us. I mean, because that's part of what the CDA is for, is finding out how it's going to benefit them and, the city. And I think that we know that a new business is going to benefit the city. And we just need to see where and how. And so I think, yeah, we start talking about what that looks like.
And as staff, we can move forward and start making those negotiations, get the numbers in, and when we come back with the development agreement, obviously the attorney would have reviewed, and the various departments would have reviewed. So
I presume they have a building permit.
did that finally go through? Yeah. That's what I thought.
How did we find out that the gas line was to the edge of the property?
Shelby Seeley got crazy with a shovel.
Straight up.
He decided he remembered having seen that when they poured the footers for that big sign they have on the north end of their property. So he went and investigated a little bit and was able to find some marking tape, that says caution buried gas pipe below. And then our crews were able to go down and do a little more excavation and locate the gas main. So.
Did kind of simplify the complication there, so.
Sometimes it helps to find it before we. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, any other questions or discussions?
Any specific direction or things you want us to consider when we're talking with them and getting estimates from them?
No, I think that, I mean.
Okay, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We have the template and everything, so,
If we find out what can work.
okay, we'll move forward. So do I have a consensus from council to move forward with an agreement? Okay, all right, we'll do that.
Okay.
With you guys.
Business items. Our first one is resolution 3/22-22-1. This is the airport consultant contract that Brett will fill us in on.
Mayor and council, our new city attorney has reviewed that general contract that we have for a 5-year period with Armstrong Consultants and found it in proper order, organized. So this resolution and the staff report in this city council packet that you have is backup information for that result. And I would recommend that you approve that contract so we can continue to proceed with various improvements and projects at the airport, because we'd like to see it keep growing and developing. Any questions?
I do have a question.
Okay,
Who's in charge of maintenance down there?
who's in charge of what maintenance?
Lights, rain gutters?
So the lights are taken care of by our FBO, fixed base operator, so that'd be Casper and Shelby. And the rain gutters belong to the city because they're on our hangars. And
And they're being replaced under the hail damage claim.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
the rain
taken.
gutters have been bad for a long time. down
Yeah,
there.
but still, the hail damage was 2 years ago.
So when the adjuster originally came for that, and this isn't exactly on topic, but when the adjuster came to do that claim, they initially actually didn't look at the rain gutters and the potential hail damage there. So when I got here, Mayor Lyman at the time had asked me to have them reassess City Hall and a few other buildings. And we went and looked and we did find damage of hail damage there. And so that's what we have an RFP out right now. The end of next week or this week, we should be receiving proposals from general contractors. And that's included replacement of the rain gutters, fixing roofs, roofing issues caused by the hail damage, and potentially others. Because the hail damage just kind of was the last straw on the camel's back with some of those things. And so the terminal roof is going to be replaced and a few other things. So I know it's 2 years ago, but those insurance claims sometimes take a while. Yeah.
It's an interesting situation down there because normally we don't have much snow, but when we do have snow, and we have had snow a couple of times in the last 10 years. And so they pushed that with the equipment down there, and the few rain gutters that haven't been torn off by the ice get damaged by the snow plows when they come around to take the snow away from the hangars so people can get in and out of them. So it's an ongoing battle that we have with those rain gutters down there.
The benefit is it's going to be fully paid for and replaced here soon. So
Do we have any other questions with this contract? You got any other questions?
I don't.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 3/22-22-1, approving a contract with Armstrong Airport Consulting Engineers.
Second.
Councilmember Perkins and Councilmember Grover, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, everyone here. Number 2, resolution 3/22-22-2, again, the twos. Okay, the water infrastructure design contract, Terry.
You probably have something messed up on all those twos in February, 28 days. You always have the same council dates as you do in March as you had in February. And we did some of these same approvals. And so I did a lot of copy paste, and Somewhere there's gonna be an error, I promise.
Expected.
Yeah,
Those would be considered Scrivener's errors that we would correct. You could still move forward with. so.
right. Yeah, I think we have one somewhere and we can get that corrected. Was mayor and council able to read my staff report on this one? I actually put a little bit of information in there. So as council knows, we received a $40,000 grant quite a few months back from drinking water for the purpose of engineering on the West Water water project / deep well / arsenic treatment / master meter stuff. And then more recently, the council has made a resolution to accept the principal forgiveness grant loan for $340,984, which gives us a total of $380,984 for design engineering services or for engineering services related to this project. And so, kind of the scope of work is a deep well up near the water treatment plant, the associated water treatment for that well, which would primarily be arsenic removal, and then connections to the system up there near the plant, as well as a metering station for wholesale water metering located at about 550 north and 600 west. So we've had Shem Lichty with Brown and Caldwell did some preliminary estimates, and that's what helped establish this design estimated cost. Since we've received that money, I've worked with Scoot, Jones and DeMille to put together a proposal which was fairly time intensive just because of the nature of the work and how much money we're talking, and they were able to get that done for us. And that's attached here after the resolution. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, it's in your packet as well. There's several task orders. And those are summarized on page 43 of your packet. Task 1 is well drilling, permitting, drilling, and construction admin for the construction of the well. Project management is task 2. Task 3 is well equipment, water system improvements, and pre-construction engineering. Task 4 would be associated with the arsenic treatment building and well house engineering. So typically when we drill a well, for those of you who haven't been here when we've done that before, we'll usually have several contracts. We'll contract first just to come in and drill the well and do the pump testing, and that gives us an idea how much water we expect to produce from that well. Then we'll usually have a secondary contract where we construct a well house, put equipment down the well, the equipment in the well house, and tie it into our water system. And so that's kind of why you see these tasks broken out that way. And the arsenic treatment, that could be in the same building as the well house. It would be a smaller skid, smaller. For those of you who have been to our water treatment plant, it would be smaller than the skid you see there, presumably. It's my understanding. And then construction engineering services, those services would be for, during the construction of the whole project. That could be contract administration, inspections, those types of items. And then environmental services. And that's kind of the gist of it. And I've been able to review their proposal and look through everything and feel comfortable with it. I kind of indicated in the staff report, as council knows, we have a general services, engineering services agreement contract in place already with Jones and DeMille. And so we can, by assignment order, we can award them this work. Brown and Caldwell has prepared a preliminary engineering report for NTUA on their side of the thing, and they have a schedule where they think they could go from our metering station out and do the distribution to the individual homes and have that construction complete by mid 2023. And so one of the reasons we're looking to use Jones and DeMille is to try and kind of keep up with that schedule. Ours is a little more design intensive than theirs. And then we feel comfortable with Jones and DeMille. They're actually the firm who designed our well equipment in the 3 deep wells that we currently utilize. back in 2008. They were working as a sub consultant to Clay Conway with Giorama back then, but they did do that design work. So we're comfortable with their capabilities there. I've provided a little printed copy of their capabilities, just so you guys could review those as well. Hopefully I've hit all the high spots. Are there questions?
What if we don't get the funding for the well? And what happens? Like, we've gone to this work and we just.
So.
We have the plan.
Placeholder?
So actually, the benefit is this, yeah, this money is regardless, we still receive this money and for all the design work so that, and I'm still gonna move forward in applying like I was even before this, the Westwater partnership. I was already applying for USDA grants, so I'm gonna still be applying for that in conjunction. That also has already been on the CIB list for several years. And last year, when I first got here, you as a council had given me direction, make that deep well the top priority. So I'll still continue moving forward in that way. So even if it doesn't work out on the state's end, we can still move forward as a city.
And if it all ends, if nothing else happens, we at least have the engineering stuff done for Saturday.
So regardless, this benefits us, no strings attached, literally.
They kind of refer to those as like a shovel-ready project. So a lot of times that can be good when you're looking for funding, because even if in 5 years, we're in some pretty good drought, and so we could qualify for one of those EQUAC grants.
Because we already have all the design.
We'd have to just kind of update cost estimates and everything, and the engineering would be there. So a lot of times that looks favorably towards getting grant money too. So it wouldn't be a loss for us, and it's grant money, so we feel pretty comfortable that way.
I feel like if we're gonna start holding the taxpayers up, we need to go back to it, pulling our water within our city limits. Because if we, going off what Lieutenant Governor said on the channel news the other night, saying, well, we're going to assist planning and applying for grants. Well, that's all fine and good, but we're grants and loans, she said. And if we're putting our taxpayers on the hook for a project outside of our city limits, I believe we're doing our city an injustice. Unless we're ready to provide water services to every home on this mesa.
So Councilmember Grover, I actually agree with you on the point of loans. And I made that very clear to the Lieutenant Governor
I
that,
make to myself clear,
Yeah.
I will not vote for a loan for the city unless we're willing to provide water to every home on this mesa.
and that was actually the direction council gave last year and why they directed myself and staff to pursue USDA grants and other types of grants, because we prefer, even regardless of the Westwater, the NTUA partnership to sell. I mean, we'd rather not have to loan or bond or any of that kind of stuff. So
Would we be able to treat water within Lansing city limits though? Because we've got a treatment plant already where it is. I mean, is
Well,
that-
no, we would never treat water in city limits unless.
So, I mean, in theory, we could drill a well, but then we'd have to pump that water out to the treatment.
So this well that we're talking about would be drilled just north of the treatment plant.
right next to
So it would be drilled on property we have adjacent to the treatment plant property currently, if that makes sense. And, for obvious reasons, we want to do most of our water treatment up there at the existing plant because we don't want to operate and maintain a different treatment facility somewhere.
Any other questions for Terry?
Question of the funds, I guess, that there's a little bit of, you'll have a little bit of extra. Does that just go back to the?
Yeah.
Is that able to use
Yeah,
it
it's
for-
so with drinking water, they call it a principal forgiveness loan. It's really a grant, but it's, we cash flow that. So if we spend, we'll budget that and our water utility can handle that cash flow. And then we'll do monthly pay requests. So if we spend 80,000 in 1 month, we'll request that and it gets reimbursed. And so we're not, now, I didn't bring it up here in the meeting, but there's 2 of the task orders on the proposal are hourly, not lump sum. And so, they could overrun or underrun a little bit, but I mean, they're not gonna overrun that much. And so we won't get there.
So I think you had stepped out when you'd asked me that earlier, and Kim had said there wouldn't be left over because it functions just as a reimbursement. Yeah.
The nice thing is it's a pretty good contingency that's there and approved if we ran into something unforeseen and raised the costs quite a bit, which we wouldn't really anticipate. But in construction, sometimes you run into unforeseen costs, not usually in design. So, but
Any other questions for Terry? If not, if someone has a motion to approve or whatever motion you have, I suppose.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 3-22-2022-2, water infrastructure design contract.
yeah, second that.
Okay, it's Councilmember Perkins and Councilmember Gosser. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, so that's Councilmember Perkins, Gosser, and Midson. 4, and Councilmember Grover abstained. Which that passes.
Right.
Just think back to the last time. Okay, resolution, business item number 3, resolution 3-22-22-3, the municipal wastewater planning program. Terry, wastewater. What did I say?
Okay.
Wastewater.
So
I wonder why.
most of you are used to this. Councilmember Grover years ago approved these by resolution. We've been doing this for a long time. It's a report that goes to water quality for our sewer system every year. David Lyman did all of this work, so he deserves the credit on this one. I'm bringing it to you guys to approve by resolution. And there's my, well, we won't point that out. We'll fix that one. So, yeah, David did a good job on this one. We did have one sanitary sewer overflow. That might be the highlight of the report. That's the thing we try and avoid. And if you remember, we had the problem last June down on the state highway where our sewer plugged up 100% and everything was coming out of a manhole. We brought in Rain for Rent and did some bypass pumping. All the guys repaired that, and it was kind of an ordeal. But anyway, it
It
happens.
was better than when the sewer was running through my building.
Yeah, it was better than that one. And
I wonder why that was better.
That day, all day long.
once in a while, we have a bad day when we're sewer utility owners for sure. So anyway, David did a great job. We'd love for council just to approve this planning program as David's put it together and by resolution, and that'll make the state really happy and keep working hard on sewer.
Okay, any questions for Terry on that? If not, I would accept a motion.
No, this is a hard one.
Motion to accept the resolution. It's accept or approve, actually.
Um,
Probably adopt.
Adopt resolution 222-22-3. Municipal wastewater planning.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Councilmember Nelson and Councilmember Perkins, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's everyone here. We do have need for a closed session. Just one item.
Yeah.
And it falls under. Let's just say here. Purchase, right? So we will break and.
Essentially 2 items, but they're both.
Okay.
Do we need to,
So we need a motion to,
I make a motion that we leave open session and return to closed session in 5 minutes.
that's Councilmember Perkins and Councilmember Grover, all in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll be back at 7:50.
Closed session.
We'll try to make this quick and painless.
And with this,